What is up, everybody? It's your boy ArchonTvwhat here. My co-host here,
Zero fat nuts.
bringing you the version 3 of ArchonTvwhat show. It's been rebooted 3 times, as you can tell. We're going to be talking about microtransactions in Fortnite in today's reboot, and kind of like our thoughts about what's going on with each of those. Be sure to post down in the comments section whether you agree with us or disagree. And with that, we're going to get right into it. So let's talk about microtransactions because they've been in the news a whole lot lately. It's actually in the court system now, whether or not it's gambling. What do you think about it?
Well, honestly, I don't think it's gambling. It's just, do you want to spend a month on the game or do you want to spend a couple weeks? And if you have enough money, you know,
See, I'm not sure though
it
because
depends. I feel like it robs you of gameplay at the same time. It's just, I don't know. I don't
yeah,
think it's really a great system. It's just another way for these game companies to release half-ass games and not finish them.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I also do think there's a little bit of gambling involved because if it's like skin related that you want, you're basically throwing in your money trying to get lucky enough to get that object, or that item. So it's almost like rolling a slot machine and trying to roll what you want. So I could kind of see that perspective of it being gambling.
I mean, League kind of has a microtransaction system going, but at least you get the skin you want, so you can pick it.
Yeah, like there are some systems that
That's
work with
fine.
it. Yeah, I mean like loot boxes too. I mean that's more what I should have said is loot boxes. My fault. But yeah, there are some systems where microtransactions do work, where like you said, League, you can actually just pay for the skin outright, even though it's gonna be like $30 for some of like the legendary skins or $50. That's how they make their money.
Hmm.
I don't believe all microtransactions are bad. I like cosmetics. Single player stuff, I personally don't like just because it kind of ruins that experience if you don't want to play the game, but you just want to have everything unlocked. But I guess it's to each their own. You paid $60 for that game more than likely. If you want to spend another 30 just to unlock everything, then it's whatever, right? I think it just kind of takes the fun out of the game to just be able to run around and one shot everything. That's just me.
Yeah, you
Uh,
should be able to build up to that in the game yourself without having to microtransit.
yeah, I mean, I'd be open to maybe just having like a new game plus mode or whatever where you have to play through it originally, without all the microtransactions, and then if people wanted to do that after, they could do that. Or maybe even make it to where like if you felt like playing the game with microtransactions in one file, you could turn it on and off. You know what I mean? Rather than having to delete the entire game off your system and then re-download it because it saves it into the game software file.
Oh, it's like Last of Us. You couldn't get to the full first version unless you bought the other half for DLC.
So yeah, I don't remember Last of Us all that much. I do remember playing it on the PS4 like remastered, but it was really buggy.
I remember returning it to GameStop because
Yeah.
I was like, I just paid $60 for not even the full game. They want me to pay another like $20-$40 for the rest of it.
Oh yeah, probably yeah for the DLC.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, real fast actually. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about that I thought was interesting, just kind of on a side note here. What do you think of the Modern Warfare 2 remastered single player only being launched? I think at the end of April. There's no multiplayer with it, just single player for $24.99. I think is what it's launching at.
I mean, that's great for people who like the single player, but I mean, no, I don't think many people play Call of Duty for the single player. It's just what they do when they don't have internet.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, I believe that Modern Warfare 2 is one of the most successful multiplayers for a Call of Duty. It was
Yeah,
innovative for its time. It was just amazing to play. To
there's specific rocks you can hide under, and
yeah, bunch of
no one can
glitches.
get you.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because I just thought that was the most interesting thing for the longest time. Because when I heard Modern Warfare 2 Remaster was coming, I was thinking, multiplayer. We're gonna get this big thing again, and everybody's gonna go back to that. Because Modern Warfare Remastered wasn't a bad game. It's just honestly, like I think they need to fix their netcode. If they fix their netcode, everything would be fine.
Yeah.
Instead, you get games where one game you just dominate everybody, and the next game you just in the same lobby you get destroyed because you can't kill anybody. I don't know.
It's just where hitboxes lie.
Well, I mean, some
I
of
feel like
it's
not many games have ever figure out like the happy median between their character model being in front of you and you shooting them, and their character model actually being somewhere else they were
yeah. I
or
mean,
are going to.
back in the day when we used to play like Modern Warfare, the original on PS3, and that, I don't remember really ever having that complaint though. Do you? Like shooting people, unless they had like a
No,
one bar and they actually had a reason behind it.
yeah, like the Call of Duty 4, that that's felt pretty legit. I mean, if they were lagging, then you could obviously tell they're lagging. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's like felt like what if you aimed at somebody, their character model is gonna hit them where you aimed at.
Yeah, and then I believe in MW3 they changed the netcode up with the lag comp to where people who were lagging no longer really show that lag trail. You know what I'm talking about, where people would run in place and then just skitter around walls and stuff.
Yeah. But I feel like that's a fair compromise if you're one bar.
Yeah, if you have bad internet, you should be punished for it, not your character model doesn't match where you're actually running and punish
And
everybody else.
there's ways to use that one bar to your advantage, like just skipping around the map and just firing.
Yeah. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Little Windows 10 ad.
It's like SOCOM did the same thing.
And see, that was a
That's
great game.
PS2.
Yeah, that SOCOM was amazing for its time. For a PS2 game, the hit detection always felt like spot on. Of course, you did have hackers and stuff in that game where you could just light somebody up and they'd be just blood red running through the base killing everybody. But at the same time, the hit detection always felt on point. You snipe
Yeah,
somebody, they die. We've gotten to this point now where netcodes are trying to balance it for people who have bad internet as well as good internet, and what you're doing is you're creating this issue where people can't hit targets properly, where it looks like you can't play the character model anymore. Is the best way to describe it. Overwatch is a big offender on that too, because like I've seen Roadhogs be like doing their eating and facing the opposite direction, and the next thing you know, boom, he's throwing a hook through the back of his head and you're hooked.
right.
Like you can't play the character model anymore. And that's what bothers me the most.
Next thing you know, is gonna be a DLC for true hit detection.
Yeah. Microtransaction. Yeah, that'll be $50, sir.
Like
50 bucks
50
for the
bucks, and then everyone in your host.
pretty much. Okay.
No more. I mean, I do like how they got away from individuals being hosts and made it more server side.
Yeah, that's always a good
But
thing because I mean you can't rage quit anymore and just ruin a lobby for everybody else.
yeah,
But MW2, that was the game where they did do the server host, and I thought the server host for MW2 was nice. Like the bullets felt good still. It wasn't until they tried changing how like people connected to each other with lag comp that it became this game where it's no longer about skill. It's more about whose hit detection is going to pick up first.
yeah,
And I mean, people I think have done legit tests out there for at least Call of Duty where it's shown that if you have a worse internet connection, it's actually better for you online than what it is to have a good internet connection.
yeah.
Not to
Especially if
mention,
you know what to do. Especially if you know your internet's bad, and you can work with it.
yeah, and the game will work with you on it as well, like with your hit detection and then your character model moving. I just wish they'd go back to the old netcode. That's all I ask. Like something that, or at least change it up a bit for a year just to see how players react. And I think some of it's also development time. Like Modern Warfare had a bunch of time. I think actually MW2 had like 2 years, 2 or 3 years before it came out. Or no, I guess maybe it was. Maybe it was just a year, but I'm sure they were probably working on it in the background. Or no, they would have had 2 years. 'Cause I think it was Modern Warfare. Maybe it was World at War and then Modern Warfare 2. So they would have had 2 years to work on it.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's been the biggest gripe for a lot of people with Call of Duty these days. Is just the netcode and hit detection just feel off.
Yeah, first person shooter where you can't shoot the person. You have to shoot where you feel like that they are.
Yeah, either behind them or in front of them. And sometimes you'll get lucky and hit the
Yeah.
character model and they'll die. It's just a mess.
After running straight at you, you got a pretty good shot, but it's still you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And their microtransactions are
Yeah,
pretty
like
bad.
Call of Duties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you get,
Anyway, when
I was going to say, you
when they
get,
release the game, it feels like the same exact. Usually feels like the same exact game as the last one. I mean, the only difference was the Black Ops 3, where I feel like they actually made some changes.
yeah. Well, the problem with Call of Duty's microtransactions is that you get guns and stuff within them. And usually those guns are really
Yeah.
strong. That's what they did to the Modern Warfare remaster as well, and they made a lot of people angry. Is that they put in? I think the ACR got put in. There was a couple other guns that got put in. I kind of stopped playing when I realized what they were gonna do. And these guns were more powerful than the M16, which was insane at the time because the M16 used to be really, really good, as well as the MP5, and it basically blew them out of the water.
Yeah, pay a little extra, gamble for it, and they end up getting the gun. And it's like, oh, they can shoot two shot someone with a fully automatic gun.
Yeah,
No one else can do that.
cross map. Yeah, it's a joke. Like we've let microtransactions get way too far. As a consumer base, we shouldn't buy into them. Unless it's just like cosmetic. Like cosmetic stuff is fine in most cases. Like Overwatch is cosmetics. It's whatever. You don't get an advantage for it.
Yeah. League of Legends, Fortnite. I feel like it's cosmetics, but I don't know. People, there is like a glider boost somewhere. I swear.
Yeah. I don't know personally how all that works. Like I play the game, but because I don't like focus on it these days, I play like a bunch of other stuff at the same time. I can't really say how it works. My cousin would be better off explaining because he plays the game like a whole bunch now, my old co-host. Um, but yeah, maybe we can get him on here one day and he can like talk to us kind of about Fortnite more in depth. But speaking of Fortnite, we can probably move on to that segment. We're moving along pretty good here. So, what do you think of the success of Fortnite so far?
I think the genre success is pretty. It's pretty nice genre. Battle Royale. I feel like the game being fair. No, it's not. It's definitely not fair.
So, let
I
me
mean, it's
ask
just
you.
there's so much RNG involved. Like, just to the point of you land on something. I mean, it could just give you C4, which I have no idea why it's even in the game because it's never done damage.
I
There's
think
been times where she will step on it and I hit the trigger. It, I feel like it does nothing for damage.
I think it's just for buildings to demolish them faster.
Yeah, but what's the point? Doesn't even having it at that point. You can just have a regular gun to do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I guess you can outbuild
Assault
C4's
rifle melts
damage.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
rocket launchers make sense, but
yeah, the missile guided one's really strong. Like I've noticed.
I haven't gotten that one yet. But
From what I understand, it pilots like a Junkrat tire. You fire it and then you go like into like a mini camera type deal, and you just guide the rocket. I was thinking it was more like I think the old James Bond
I feel
games
like that's a
were.
pretty big, pretty hardcore drawback to on Fortnite. We have to leave your person for a second.
It depends. I mean, you can always build yourself a fort like way up in the air and then just shoot rockets out of it.
Yeah,
And I mean, you're guaranteeing
and hope
almost a
no one with
kill.
a jump pad
Yeah.
gets close to you.
Yeah. True. But what I was gonna say a minute ago is, do you think that Fortnite is a success, or do you think it's the battle royale genre that's a success?
Oh, it's definitely just a battle royale genre.
So
It,
you, if people had been making battle royale modes prior to this, and Fortnite kind of came in near the end of it, you don't think it'd be nearly as popular?
no, I feel like they would have had to really stepped it up by this point.
So it's just Epic
Because
Game.
yeah,
So it's just Epic Games cashing in on a genre rather than them
yeah,
actually making it popular.
yeah. That's exactly what I think about it. Because I mean, if anyone else had a genre like this, like heck, if Blizzard had a genre like this, I'm pretty sure they would. It could probably do better than Fortnite.
Yeah, I could see that.
Uh,
I mean, to me, the battle
uh,
royale genre feels just like a bigger version of free for all from like a Call of Duty or a Halo or any of those other first-person shooters. It's just bigger scale,
I
especially
mean, I
Halo.
like the feel of it. Like it kind of reminds me of Hunger Games. You know,
Well, I mean, if you think about
drop
it,
down and it's like you get what you get.
yeah,
Then again, that's where RNG comes in. You know, you could just get 3 packs of C4, and then
that
you just gotta be really sneaky.
yeah. I mean, if you really want to be technical with it, you could say that Halo actually started the whole battle royale genre style games. When you really get down to it, I mean, it was on a smaller scale. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
you could consider the free for all because back in Halo, you had to run around and pick up random weapon. Well, they weren't really random, but I think there was modes that made them random weapon drops and stuff. It just wasn't on the bigger scale like
well,
what
Resistance had the same thing.
did they? Oh yeah, they did. See, I forget about that game. It was the first one was
Yeah,
really fun for online. I remember going over and playing it.
yeah, like you get the auger stuff. Like you can see people through walls and shoot them, but
Yeah.
I mean, they still had the drawback where the bullets were slower.
Yep. The bullseye locked
But it's
on.
like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that bigger scale is what people were looking for versus like 100 people. If somebody would have done that years ago instead of like the small scale free for alls,
see, Resistance, I feel like was a completed game.
yeah,
Like
that
there
game
was
had a lot to it.
not much for microtransactions or any.
Well, you have to remember, I think Resistance was launched right at PS3's launch date, or right around it, to where microtransactions hadn't yet broken through. The day one patch hadn't yet been a thing.
Is that so? That is that like the last? That's the last game that was completely finished before it released.
It was one of them. I mean, there are some indie devs that do finish their games up nowadays. It's very rare, but like AAA titles, yeah, it's probably one of the few. I mean, I think the new Assassin's Creed had some work put into it, a couple of years at least. But nowadays, it's let's release this title, this title, this title within like 3 years of each other, and try to patch them along the way. I mean, Infinite
Yeah,
Warfare was one of the worst released games ever when it came out because it didn't have leaderboards, it didn't have a bunch of stuff that it was supposed to have at launch, and literally like 5 months later, it all got patched in. At some point, somebody needs to put their foot down and slow everybody's roll down on this day one patch business because it doesn't help the game. It helps people out a little bit if their game is
and
full and
there's a
something
fine
bugs.
line between. As far as gaming is considered, I feel like there's a fine line between a beta and a finished game, and most people are just releasing betas and calling it a finished game.
Pretty much. I mean, Call of Duty's beta usually comes out a month before the game actually launches, and in most
It's more
cases,
like an alpha at that point.
yeah, in most cases they don't even get anything fixed. It's just the same game that you played in the beta. They might nerf the gun damage here and there, but that's it. All the bugs you found in the
The
beta
only
usually
reason,
work.
yeah, the only reason that I feel like they can't really say it's an alpha is because a lot of it's already been copied and pasted in.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing now with like early. They're now calling like betas like early release or early access, to where you pay for the beta now. You pay like $20 for the game up front, and then you just play through early access, and then they launch it for a full price later. I think actually Ark was guilty of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, they after 5 years of them neglecting Arc, that's what I was gonna talk about. Was they're actually coming back into it and fixing up the game now.
Yeah,
Like
because
they addressed their hit detection, the players elasticing across them. Like not really knowing where they are, or make it
Yeah.
pretty obvious where they are when their arms are 20 feet behind them.
Well, I remember reading like articles and stuff where Arc was in early access and they were charging people for the early access like $20, and then they tried to release DLC within the early access for like $40 or $50. I mean, that is not okay. Like even now, like for Fortnite as well, like I don't think that you should be releasing like microtransactions in your early access games. I think they should have to be finished before you're legally allowed to do that. Because right
Yeah.
now, you could just sit in early access forever and just not launch your game.
I mean, I'm all for founders packs and stuff. I mean, if what Fortnite was $20 for the founders pack, and because technically, I mean, they admitted it's still in beta, right?
Well, it's early access, yeah.
Not a full game. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're focusing your time on microtransactions and stuff like that, then are you really going to ever get to that finished product? Are you really working your way towards it? Yes, you're adding stuff to the game, but the game still has issues, like bloom being a thing. Bloom should not be a thing for a game where you have to aim and actually have precision. I would rather have that recoil mechanic that I guess they're working on than to have my bullets randomly choose to go where they want to within a certain spread. I mean, there's no worse feeling than to fire a shotgun into somebody's head at point blank range, ADS, and hit for 16. Because the rest of your spread just went whoever knows where. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, I played a game last night on stream where I had a scar that was, I think, purple. And I was shooting a guy. I managed to hit him in the body for 30, and then I hit him in the head for 70, and then he rushed me, and I had the right side of the screen, so I just peeked to the right and started shooting into him. Bullets just would not hit him. I should have, like, on that, I should have
Oh,
swapped
he's
to a
on the
shotgun.
right.
Yeah, which would have been my
Really?
side.
You're screwed if he's on your right.
No, it's your left that usually you can't see. Your camera's right over the shoulder on the right side. It's left that you get screwed on. They need to put a feature in where you can swap shoulder
Right.
cameras too, but yeah, because it's whoever gets the right side, you win, just automatically win. Because the other person has to swing their camera left in order to maybe line up with you to get their camera lined up so you're over the shoulder on them.
Yeah. And I feel like when they're on that side, your bullets travel left more.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know.
know. I know if you don't move, your bloom goes way down. If you crouch, your bloom goes way down, so your chance for hitting them goes way up. But if you stand still, your opponent who's spraying across the map might get lucky and hit a couple headshots on you, even though they're jumping up and down. So it feels horrible.
But you just have assault rifle is the best gun in the game.
At long
Start
range.
spraying bullets. Eventually, something's gonna hit them.
Yeah. Like I said, I hope the recoil mechanic
But
comes out soon because it would be nice to replace bloom with that. I'd rather have the ability to counteract like recoil than to deal with my bullets just randomly not hitting. That's
wish I
one.
would have videotaped this yesterday though. I had a hunting rifle and 3 dudes in front of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't really need to aim because they're all in my face trying to hit me with the axe. So
Yeah.
I shoot like in the middle of all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow it takes a second and goes just right past them. Like the bullet didn't even come out until it's way like past their character.
Yeah, there's some weird interactions up close. Like the crossbow especially is really guilty of it, where you can actually fire at point blank range, your opponent not move, you'll hip fire them, your bolt will come out, it'll go into them, and for whatever reason, it just won't register damage. You'll see a bolt sticking out of them, no damage. And then there have been times where I've shot at somebody and I actually missed them by a mile. They jump and I'm facing the opposite way now at this point, and somehow I kill them. I put them down. So yeah, I don't know what causes it. I don't know if it's an issue with like bullet travel maybe. Like your bullet travels really slow when you first fire it maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just the time it takes for the character to actually fire after you pull the trigger. Or because not only that, it's like I feel like with guns like crossbows and rifles, since they're supposed to be long range weapons, it doesn't fire close up. That makes sense.
Yeah, it
Like it's
takes.
actually a fat gap between the muzzle of the gun and where the bullet's coming out.
You mean the time between when you hear the audio file load up for the gunshot and the gunshot actually going out of the gun?
No, I mean the space and where the gun's bullet's coming out.
Ah,
From what I from what I got after trying to shoot the three of them like lined up like ducks in a row. It's like a broadside of a barn. I aimed, I no scoped in between all of them,
mm-hmm.
and it just the bullet didn't like it didn't come out where my gun was. It came out past all of them.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So basically, if the gun was far left, the bullet would come out near the middle from where you shot instead of the gun barrel itself.
Like your your gun was at the tip of your pen. The bullet came out in
Yeah,
the air, two like
2 feet in
couple
front.
inches in front of
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
it's not actually launching from the model itself. It's launching from somewhere else in front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's an early access game, but at the same time, they're pumping microtransactions out left and right. So honestly, I wish they'd
Mhm.
fix these issues rather than try to make a bunch of money off of a game that's in early access. The battle royale portion is free. The actual Fortnite Save the World is, I think, $20 or $30 for the Founders Pack. But to me, it still doesn't make sense that they are charging for the Save the World portion when the Battle Royale portion is what everybody's playing. So instead, they're just putting a bunch of microtransactions into the other. It just doesn't make sense. I wish maybe that they just focus a bit more on the game.
All right. Can you do pause?
Uh, I can just keep going. We can close it out here. It's fine.
Okay.
Just mute your mic. I'll close it out.
All right.
With that, that was my co-host Sir Fat Nuts. He'll be back next week. He'll be my partner doing this going forward, hopefully. But with that, like I said, we're gonna close this out. I think the first episode being a half hour is fine. We'll probably shoot for about the same thing next week as well, maybe like a half hour, 45 minutes. Stick around because after this, I'm gonna do another separate where we do Anime Corner, and I'm just gonna recommend maybe like an English dub anime to you guys, something like that, because I don't really watch sub all that much. So I'll recommend like something to pick up and maybe watch if you're interested in just watching anime, something chill. You don't really have an idea where to start. I'll probably do like once or maybe twice a month. Do the corner. So with that, we're gonna head out of here. If you guys agree with any of our opinions, disagree, be sure to let us know down in the comments section. As always, we can talk about maybe do a section next week where we talk about some of the comments and that, and go over what you guys think about what we talked about last week. I wouldn't mind doing that. Maybe do 5 minutes of that or something. Next week, we might be talking about Arc a little more, and we'll have somebody who is really, really familiar with Arc. I'm not familiar with it. My friend Sir Fatnuts here is familiar with it, but he's also got a friend that he plays with that might join us and kind of talk about some of the issues with Arc and some of the stuff about Arc. So if you're looking forward to that, we'll have to see about next week as well. We might talk a little bit about the Switch, some of the Donkey Kong reboots that are coming out. A little bit of that stuff, a little bit of miscellaneous. Who knows, right? But with that, hopefully you guys enjoyed the reboot of version 3. And like I said, stick around for Anime Corner. I'll be right back. What's up, guys? ArchonTvwhat here, bringing you the Anime Corner. If you guys have a better suggestion for like what title for this, feel free to let me know in the comments section. I have no problem maybe looking it over, and if I like it, I'll go with it. Anyway, I'll even give you credit. Anyway, what this is it's going to be like a weekly, bi-weekly little thing to the end of the show where I kind of give you guys an anime suggestion. We'll start out kind of light for like the first couple weeks with shows that are easy to watch and not too like mature or anything like that. Like High School DxD has a lot of nudity and sexual themes to it, or not too violent like Be the Beginning on Netflix. I'll be sure to let you guys know if there's anything you guys need to watch out for, like the audience it's intended for and whatnot. I won't recommend something like Devilman Crybaby, which is basically a mixture of both, whether it's over sexualized and like hyper violent, like Super Jail or something like that. I don't know how many people are familiar with Super Jail. It was on Adult Swim. But anyway, I'll let you guys know ahead of time. But for this week, we're going to recommend a light show. I think it's like at most TV 14. It's called D Gray Man. Uh, it's about 113 episodes, I think, for the original series. I think 90 of them are dubbed. So there's like 23 left, or maybe it's 100 of them are dubbed. But by the time most people will get around to getting to the end of the series, the last 23 or 13 should be dubbed, and you'll be able to go right into the second series that's already out in English. Don't ask, it happens way too often. Anyway, what the series is about, it's about a boy named Alan Walker who, with the power of this ability called Innocence, joins this order of exorcists and helps them fight off these monsters called Akuma, which are created by the Millennium Earl and the family of Noah. And how they're created, these Akuma, they're made from people's souls who have died and their loved ones wishing them back. The Earl kind of tempts them into wishing them back, and then he traps their souls in these like mechanical robot bodies or dolls, which are the Akuma. And then from there, the Akuma usually kills the person who brought back or wished back the person, and then they kind of take on their form of the person they killed. And the job of the Order is to eliminate these Akuma and defeat the Millennium Earl. I'm kind of bringing peace to the world. That's not spoiling too much. Anyway, like I said, it's about 114 to get to the new series. About 13 episodes haven't been dubbed, maybe 23, but either way, they'll all be done in the next box set. You're looking at about 30 minutes an episode if you watch like the credits to the other. Actually, I think it might be 23. 20 if you just watch the opening to ending. Or just watch with skipping opening to ending, my bad. All in all, I definitely recommend checking it out. Otherwise, obviously, I wouldn't have recommended it. Ways to watch it, like legal ways to watch it, I'm sure they probably, I don't want to like tell you guys Crunchyroll or anything like that because I'm not sure like dub-wise, but I can 100% guarantee you that Funimation, you can get it on your, I think most of your smart TVs these days. You can get it on the PS4, the Xbox, PC obviously has it. Just go to their website, Funimation. If phone, you can watch it anywhere. I recommend checking out, I think it's either a 7-day free trial or a 14-day free trial. I can't remember which it is. I've been a member for 2 years. Membership's not that bad. It's like $50 for a year, $55 for a year. And you have full access to the entire library, ad-free. 1080p, I think, is what most shows are in now. Unlimited streaming and that. All that good stuff, you know, that some places don't give you. I definitely recommend checking it out. Maybe you'll find another show that you like. They also have Dragon Ball, One Piece, Fairy Tail. Just some mainstream names that people might know. They like have all the Dragon Ball series. They have Super. Like they have like the English sub versions of Super. They're also working on the dub episodes that air also on Toonami on Adult Swim. But yeah, all in all, if you're going to check out D Gray Man, I recommend doing it that way. There are other ways, of course, as with anything like, you know, I'm not going to say it. You guys already know what I'm implying in most cases. If you don't want to pay. Just be careful out there. There are nasty viruses you can find, of course, with any website that you're doing that stuff on. But yeah, with that, I think I recommend D Gray Man. Gave you guys a little bit of what the story's about. It's pretty easy to get into. It's just a typical battle show, not too hard to follow. So yeah, I'm not sure, like I said. We might do this again next week, we might not. If you guys want to see this weekly, let me know. I got no problem giving you guys like show ideas for English dub. This will not be, well, anything I pretty much recommend in dub, you can find subbed if you want to watch it. The sub's already out. I won't recommend anything too new that hasn't already had like its entire series released, so nothing like simulcast for the most part that isn't done. Anyway, with that, like I said, I'm going to head out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the anime corner this week, and I will see you guys, like I said, maybe next week or for the anime corner, or at least 2 weeks. We'll see. Later.